poll bugle has been sounded and the great summer election is all set to kickstart from 27th of March. With less than a month left, the election fever is heating up. In the state of Assam, where the shadow of the violent anti-CAA protests looms large, hectic parleys are on. New alliances are being forged and campaigning is in full swing. Assam is set for a fierce battle of the ballot. Three-phase polling in the 126-member Assam Assembly is to begin on March 27. 47 seats to go to the polls in the first phase, followed by polling on 39 and 40 seats in the next two phases. 33,530 polling stations and a total of 2.29 crore voters eligible to cast their votes in the Assam Assembly elections. The votes will be counted on May 2nd.
Hello and welcome to this weekend special. I'm Akshita Nandagopal and our focus over the next half hour is on what's happening in Assam. The political contest in Assam this time is a make or break one for the Bharatiya Janata Party in the state, as the party is eyeing to widen its footprint in the east. The Congress also is leaving no stone unturned to recapture lost ground. And with regional parties coming back to its fold, the contest is most definitely gaining momentum.
Assam Assembly Elections 2021 is fast emerging as a three-cornered fight. It is not just the BJP and the Congress at loggerheads. New political outfits that have formed in the past few months are expected to add a regional dimension to the contest. Prominent among the new parties are Assam Jatiya Parishad, AJP and Raizor Dal, RD. Both are offshoots of the violent Anti-Citizenship Amendment Act protests that rocked the state in December 2019. AJP was launched by All Assam Students Union and Assam Jatiyotabadi Yuva Chhatra Parishad, two prominent student organizations which had also played a key role in the Assam agitation against illegal immigrants between 1979 and 1985. On the other hand, RD was formed by Krishak Mukti Sangram Samiti, a prominent farmers' body that also spearheaded the anti-CAA protests. Both AJP and RD are contesting the polls together.
जो हम लोग का लैंग्वेज है, असमीज लैंग्वेज है, उसके लिए बहुत भयानक एक फ्यूचर लेके आ रहा है, क्योंकि हम लोग ने त्रिपुरा को देखा हुआ है, क्योंकि त्रिपुरा में अभी त्रिपुरी जो लैंग्वेज है वो सेकंड ऑफिशियल लैंग्वेज है. वैसा हालत हम लोग का आसाम में नहीं हो. जो कॉमन पीपल था यहाँ का आसाम का, उन लोग का एक क्वेश्चन था, तो हम लोग वोट किसको को करेंगे. हम लोग बीजेपी को नहीं कर सकते, वो लोग काल आ रहे हैं. कांग्रेस पावर में था, फिर भी एनआरसी इंप्लीमेंट नहीं किया, तो हम लोग किसको वोट देंगे. ये पब्लिक डिमांड था. तब जो स्टूडेंट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है आसू, एजेवाईसीपी, वो मिलकर एक नया पॉलिटिकल पार्टी फॉर्म किया जो असम जातीय परिषद है.
Led by the student union activists, Upper Assam was the epicenter of anti-CAA protests. That's the reason why BJP is tight-lipped about it during the poll campaign. Although lockdown due to COVID has cooled off the anger among voters to a large extent, it remains to be seen as to how much the opposition parties managed to capitalize on this emotive issue.
The ruling BJP is continuing its alliance with Ahom Ganaparikhad, but has dumped Bodoland People's Front in favor of United People's Party Liberal, UPPL, which is now heading the Bodoland Territorial Council.
जितने भी सीट हम लोग को मिलेगा, बीजेपी को जितना मिलेगा, हम लोग को जितना मिलेगा, जिसको भी जितना मिलेगा, ये सारा जो सीट है, जो क्षेत्र है, इसको जिताने का काम हम लोग एक साथ करेंगे. और अभी जो है जनता जो यहाँ का है, ये लोग वापस बीपीएफ को नहीं चाहते हैं. और अभी आपने देख लिया है 17 साल का जो बीपीएफ यहाँ दुर्नीति भ्रष्टाचार किया था, और वहाँ जो 70 साल किया था, एक साथ मिल गया है. तो ये जो भ्रष्टाचारी जो टीम हो गया है, इसके साथ जनता नहीं जाएंगे.
4 लाख पन्ना प्रमुख अपॉइंट करके वो विधानसभा वाइज उन लोग का सम्मेलन भी किया है. और अभी 7 लाख पन्ना प्रमुख ने परिवार संपर्क कर रहा है, घर घर परिवार संपर्क कर रहा है. और लगभग 68 फैमिलीज को 68 परिवारों को साथ हम लोग का 4 लाख कार्यकर्ता ने काम कर रहा है। 1 या 2 तारीख का अंदर ये संपर्क अभियान खत्म हो जाएगा। और निश्चित रूप से मैं अध्यक्ष होने के नाते मेरा ड्यूटी है जो भाजपा को कैसे बढ़ाना है। तो मेरा जितना सीट था उस सीट से तो आगे बढ़ाना को तो मेरा मकसद रहेगा और तो मेरा दायित्व भी है, रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी भी है।
While BJP has set a Mission 100 plus target by aiming to retain power, Opposition Congress also set Mission 101 target for this election.
आप देख रहे हैं कि बीजेपी की जो यहाँ पे स्टेट में उनकी हालात इतनी दुर्बल है, इतनी कमजोर है कि 1 महीने में 4-5 बार प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी को आना पड़ रहा है अपने दल को बचाने के लिए। ये वही प्रधानमंत्री है जो बाढ़ के समय उन्होंने अपना कदम असम के जमीन पे नहीं रखा, लेकिन आज जब उनका दल इतना कमजोर हो चुका है उस दल को बचाने के लिए 5 बार आए हैं। प्रधानमंत्री जी का स्वागत करते हैं, लेकिन प्रधानमंत्री जी ये भी बताएं कि उनके सरकार राज्य में आने के बाद कितनी नई नौकरियां दी गई हैं, कितना नया इंडस्ट्री दिया गया है। इन प्रश्नों का उत्तर उनके पास नहीं है।
अमित शाह जी यही 65 प्लस बोल के गए थे और मैंने कहा था कि 65 प्लस हमारा होगा और रिजल्ट देख लीजिए वही हुआ। वहाँ भी अमित शाह जी 100 प्लस बोल के गए हैं। हमारा जो गठबंधन है वो 100 प्लस हमारा आएगा।
The Congress has a truck with All India United Democratic Front, AIUDF, newly formed Anchalik Gana Morcha, AGM, and 3 left parties, the CPI, the CPIM, and the CPI-ML. The ruling BJP's estranged ally Bodoland People's Front too has joined the Congress-led alliance to fight the polls.
This Mahajut government will rebuild Assam. What damages BJP has done in Assam in the name of religion, in the name of caste, in the name of creed, and in the name of RSS, capitalism, the economy of the state has totally been devastated. The social fabric has already been damaged. So all this misrule of BJP will end.
While ruling BJP is banking on another term based on its social welfare schemes and infrastructure projects, new regional parties as well as the opposition Congress are taking a rigid anti-citizenship amendment act stance, which they hope would sway votes.
असम के अस्तित्व की बात है। किसी को ना डबल इंजन चाहिए, ना रिमोट कंट्रोल का सीएम चाहिए, ना डबल सीएम चाहिए। उनको चाहिए एक नेता, एक सीएम जो एक पार्टी जो उनके अस्तित्व को बचाकर उनके भविष्य के लिए काम करे। और जहां-जहां मैं जाती हूँ ये यही सुनती हूँ।
It is the complex demography of Assam that has made it possible for the 2 main contenders to take completely divergent positions on a matter that may potentially make or break their political fortune in the region. Meanwhile, in the tea gardens of Assam, leaders are queuing up to woo the 30 lakh workers. A voting bloc that influences patterns in some 37 assembly segments. But there is widespread discontent brewing amongst them.
हम लोग का लड़का बच्चा स्कूल पढ़ाने नहीं सकता है, अच्छा पिंधाने नहीं सकता है, खाने नहीं सकता है, तो हम लोग जनते ने ऐसे माने गुजारा कर लेते हैं। बाद में
चाहते हो आपके जो बच्चे हैं वो ये काम करें?
नहीं, सब लोग तो हम लोग तो जैसा हम लोग का माने हम गया है ना हम लोग का जिंदगी का, हाँ, तो वो सब का हम लोग का नहीं चाहता है सब करने के लिए।
59 ईयर से वो लोग यहाँ से देश चलाया, आसाम को चलाया, लेकिन इसके बाद क्या हुआ कि हम लोग ऐसे हुआ कि एजीपी को भी चांस दिया। कांग्रेस के साथ ही जो ट्राइब्स कम्युनिटी है हर कोई मतलब कांग्रेस के साथ थे, फिर एजीपी को दिया। लास्ट 5 इयर्स हम लोग बीजेपी को भी देख लिए, तो लेकिन कांग्रेस वाले तो बुरे थे, लेकिन किसी गुने कम नहीं है बीजेपी वालों भी। एजीपी का तो कुछ काम ही नहीं है।
For decades now, these tea tribes of Assam have been held hostage to political rhetorics during elections. Each new election brings up a season of new hopes. Hope for better wages, leading to a better life. With camera person Ritesh Mishra from Dekiachuli in Sonitpur district, this is Anand Patel for India Today.
The 2021 Assam elections are in many ways a break with the past. For the first time, the BJP is going into an Assam election as the ruling party, having completed 5 years in office. For the first time in decades, the Congress goes into an Assam election without the towering presence of its three-time Chief Minister, the late Tarun Gogoi. New alliances are also being forged, adding to the uncertainty. The Congress's alliance with the left and the AIUDF, a party that claims to openly espouse the concerns of Assam's large immigrant Muslim population, could change political equations, particularly in Lower Assam and the Barak Valley, and polarize the electorate even further. The 33 Muslim-dominated seats in these areas could see a potential Congress AIUDF left sweep. The ruling BJP, on the other hand, is looking for a counter-polarization in the Assamese-speaking areas of Upper and Middle Assam, projecting itself as a party which stands against Bangladeshi or Bengali-speaking Muslim migrants. In 2016, the BJP won 32 of the 36 such seats. But there is an X factor this time in Assam's complex politics. The Citizenship Amendment Act, or CAA, passed by the Modi government in 2019, has opened new fault lines in Assam. The anger against the CAA among ethnic Assamese could change political equations once again. Making the situation even more fluid is the emergence of a number of smaller parties who claim to stand for local interests, parties emerging from the womb of the Assam Gana Parishad, a BJP ally that had spearheaded the original anti-migrant movements of the 1980s. There is also change in the air in the Bodo tribal areas with 12 seats. Here too alliances are shifting, with the Bodo People's Front now joining hands with the Congress-led alliance, while the BJP has found a new ally in the United People's Party Liberal. And then there is the leadership question in Assam. The Congress is struggling to project a face to replace Tarun Gogoi. The BJP, on the other hand, is facing a battle within. Chief Minister Sarbanand Sonowal has the incumbent advantage, but Hemanta Biswa Sarma is widely seen as the most popular local leader and the BJP's chief political organizer. So which way will the voters in the 136-member Assam Assembly vote this time? The BJP is seen by most pollsters to be in pole position, but the narrative of CAA and the newly forged alliances have meant that Assam's election is one that could spring.
We're slipping into a very short break here on India Today. When we come back, we'll take a look at all the popular faces, the leaders in the state of Assam fighting it out for power. Welcome back. While we're talking about elections in the state of Assam, let's take a look at the popular faces in the poll-bound states, the leaders from different political parties that one must watch out for at this point in time.
মই শ্ৰী সৰ্বানন্দ সোণোৱালে ঈশ্বৰৰ নামত শপত খাই কওঁ যে বিধিৰ দ্বাৰা স্থাপিত ভাৰতৰ
In May 2016, 53-year-old Sarbananda Sonowal was sworn in as the 14th Chief Minister of Assam. Then, a charismatic union minister in Narendra Modi cabinet, Sonowal was projected as the party's CM face, as an alternative to the incumbent Congress's aging Tarun Gogoi. And in the end, the gambit paid off. Sarbananda Sonowal led the Saffron Party to a massive win, installing the first ever BJP-led government in a northeastern state. 5 years down the line, his clean image and persona remains undented.
অসমখন বিদেশী মুক্ত কৰিব লাগিব, দুৰ্নীতি মুক্ত কৰিব লাগিব আৰু প্ৰদূষণ মুক্ত কৰিব লাগিব। আৰু অসমৰ সম্পদ আৰু সম্ভাৱনাৰ ভিত্তিত অসমখন ভাৰতবৰ্ষৰ ভিতৰত অন্যতম শ্ৰেষ্ঠ উন্নত ৰাজ্য হিচাপে প্ৰতিষ্ঠা কৰিব লাগিব।
Some decisions of the Sonowal-led government, such as the closure of state-aided madrasas and refusal to set up the so-called Mia Museum, found public support. The BJP is hoping to capitalize on this and consolidate the Hindu vote. The BJP in Assam boasts of a peculiar arrangement where the number 2 in government, Himanta Biswa Sarma, enjoys a higher media profile than the Chief Minister. Once a former Congress strongman and blue-eyed boy of the former Chief Minister Tarun Gogoi, today Sarma is widely seen as the most popular local leader and the BJP's chief political organizer.
These so-called Mia people are very, very communal, very, very fundamental, and they are involved in various activities to distort Assamese culture, Assamese language. So I don't want to be MLA with their vote.
Meanwhile, with its tallest leader, Tarun Gogoi, having passed away, the Congress party is facing a big challenge in fighting the BJP this assembly polls. Though the Congress is yet to find its chief ministerial candidate face, the party is trying to counter the ruling BJP by starting Assam Bachao campaign across the state, and the Congress MP Gaurav Gogoi, who is the son of late Tarun Gogoi and also the chairman of the Congress party's election manifesto committee, is one of the main local leaders spearheading the campaign.
I am not interested in becoming a chief minister. I'm not here for my personal ambitions. I want the problems of unemployment to be solved. I want the dreams of young women to walk on the streets of Guwahati safely without being harassed, that to be solved. I want the rural artisans who have been burdened under COVID lockdown and who are under debt for their problems to be addressed. My future is not important. The future of the people living in poverty and the people or the members of the self-help groups who are burdened in debt, that is more important to me.
Whether the party would project Gaurav Gogoi as the CM face of the Grand Alliance is not yet clear. According to the 2011 census, 35% of Assam's population is Muslim, a higher proportion than in any other state. And that makes Congress's alliance with the All India United Democratic Front interesting. With Badruddin Ajmal as its leader, AIUDF is a strong contender for the Muslim votes in the state. Ajmal had formed the party in 2005 on the plank of protecting Assam's immigrant Muslims, who are commonly stigmatized as illegal infiltrators from Bangladesh. The Congress too has traditionally banked on the support of Bangla-speaking Muslims. And with their pre-poll alliance, the two parties are looking at preventing a division of the Muslim vote, which had benefited the ruling BJP Ahom Ganaparikhad alliance in several elections since 2014.
There are a total of 33 districts in Assam, which the river Brahmaputra divides into two parts, Upper Assam and Lower Assam. Many of the 20 districts in Lower Assam share an international border with Bangladesh, a major cause of concern and the reason for the NRC or the National Register of Citizens. The constant flow of migration from Bangladesh into Assam has been a major political issue for decades. The rise in the minority Muslim population in specific border regions, which have not been commensurated with the increase in national or even state averages, has been the biggest bone of contention. And it's this infiltrated debate that's helped the BJP and helped it gain power in Assam back in 2016, making Assam the first state in the northeast to embrace the Saffron Party. Up next, a look at the violent past of Assam and how politics has fueled that divide over the years.
In 2019, meandering queues at thousands of centres across Assam left a sizable chunk of the state's population lining up to find out if they are a citizen of the country or not. The National Register of Citizens, or the prime document establishing validity of the residents of Assam as citizens of India, finally came into existence on 31st of August 2019. After more than a decade-long process of identification and administrative deliberations.
On ground, people wants to re-elect this BJP government for our track record in defending Assam identity as well as for fostering its development beyond the expectation.
चाहे कुछ भी हो जाए, CAA नहीं होगा.
After the first census of 1951 in independent India, the National Register of Citizens was created in Assam. Millions of refugees had poured into Assam in the catharsis that led to the formation of Bangladesh in 1971. Most of them never returned. By 1979, the immigration issue led to a full-blown agitation against the Bengalis, and what followed was years of killings and uncertainty in the state. On January 18, 1980, the All Assam Students Union, ASU, submitted a memorandum to both the central and state governments to update NRC 1951, and a period of violent agitation followed, spearheaded by ASU, till the Assam Accord was signed, signalling the return of peace. The student leaders of the agitation had insisted that updating the NRC be one of the primary clauses in the Assam Accord of 1985. On 15th of August 1985, a memorandum of settlement was signed between representatives of the Government of India and the leaders of the Assam movement. The Assam Accord, signed in the presence of then Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi, sought to end the 6-year-long agitation against illegal immigrants in Assam. But soon there began the next phase of ethnic conflict. This time between a local tribe and the immigrant Bengali Muslim. The Bodos are the largest claimed tribe in Assam who once held sway over the lower Brahmaputra valley. Since early 1990s, the Bodos organized themselves into insurgent and special groups to assert their rights in Assam. Conflict slowly became more to do with religious identity than the ethnicity of alleged immigrants. Since those early days, hundreds of deaths have taken place and thousands have been uprooted in instances of ethnic violence on both sides of the divide. The most brutal incident of Bodo versus Muslim clash took place between July and September 2012 between Bodo tribal groups and Bengali-speaking Muslims in Kokrajhar, Bongaigaon and Jaipur. The spiral of violence claimed over 100 lives and displaced nearly 6 lakh people. By the time Assam, which had a Congress government for over 15 years, went in for assembly polls in 2016, the poll issues were being debated along religious lines. The Congress lost power because of anti-incumbency, and the growing fear of Muslim immigrant made it natural for the BJP to assume control. The newly elected Chief Minister declared that the Bangladesh-Assam border would be sealed within 2 years. 5 years on, the divide and the ethnic distrust continues to simmer in Assam. And there is a new complexity that has entered the equation: the passing of the Citizenship Amendment Act in 2019. CAA has brought the fear back that this would open the doors to a flood of refugees from Bangladesh.
And that's all we have time for in this special broadcast. Thank you for watching. We here at India Today will continue getting you the latest news and updates.
Hello everyone, this is Rahul Kamal here. Hope you enjoyed this video. For the latest news and analysis, like and subscribe the India Today YouTube channel, and don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated.